The JuRY Daily Show is brought to you by you. Go to payjurydaily.com. Hello, everybody. July 26th, 2018, JuRY Daily Show. Very excited to be with you. I'm dog sitting. I'm dog sitting a puppy. Her name is Princess Peach, and holy shit, is she a princess. Will not walk downstairs. That's a thing. I didn't know that dogs were afraid of stairs, but apparently they are. Go ahead and check my all my social. I'm going to finally cash in, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to finally cash in on the only true way that I can rake in social media success. Posting dog pics. Dog pics are it. Puppers and doggos. I'm getting into the game. Thanks to dog sitting Princess Peach. I don't want to talk about dogs, though. I want to talk about magic today. And to do that, we have a guest. Let me see if this guest is live. For those of you who are not aware, for several years, was a... Oh, here we go. We have a guest. I used to cover magic. And now I don't, but I wanted to talk about it. And to do it, we're going to bring on Matt Donnelly of the Ice Cream Social. He is a magician now. You can catch him. He is noodling minds wherever minds are there to be noodled. How you doing, Matt?
Good, man. Good. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay. I don't have it set up for a video for you to get video from me, but it's such a treat seeing your lovely face here.
There you go. This grizzled, unshowered look is for you and you only, my friend.
So I got on this magic kick because somebody in my Discord, Sunbun, I think, posted a thing about Chris Angel. Chris Angel is wrapping up his run at the Luxor.
Yes.
And is looking to the future. And I don't really want to talk about Chris Angel so much as it is
that makes two of us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a controversial figure in magic in general and Las Vegas magic in specific from when I used to cover it. I don't know if you know that I used to cover the magic industry like as a profession for several years.
I think I vaguely understood that. I don't know the specifics of it, but I do understand that you used to work with Amazing Randy and run some kind of magazine or something, right?
Yeah, a website, itricks.com, which is still there, but is always it's such a weird industry, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about because you're involved with Penn with the Penn Sunday School podcast.
Yes.
But was that your first brush with the magic community? Or were you aware of it prior to that?
I was aware of it prior, but only like in a very small way. I spent years teaching in New York at the People's Improv Theater and Upright Citizens Brigade, Magnet Theaters, and there was some crossover in the improv world and the magic world.
Got you.
But not in any large amount.
So now you are the opposite of that. You are ingrained in it. For those of you who are unaware, there was, I guess, what was it, a challenge or a bet or a bounty on Penn Sunday School?
It was. I basically ran my mouth off and was called on it. Really, is what happened. So haphazardly, I've been a comedy writer for Penn and Teller and for their TV shows and movie projects and stuff. And when I started writing on Fool Us, I kind of ruined my superpower amongst them, which was that I was the normal guy who didn't understand magic or variety arts at all. So when we were writing, I was always the guy in the room to be like, everyone will think this, or no one even knows what a daylight seance is. Don't worry about it, Um, uh, and then also working on Foolish, I haphazardly got put into the rehearsal room with some of the greatest minds of magic, working with the best magicians of the world doing their best tricks for television. So suddenly I had a crash course on magic happening in front of me.
So give me the 10 peso version of you talking shit about how easy it is to be a magician and then being forced to be a magician.
It wasn't how easy it was. It was frustration in that, like, like my job on Foolish is to try to like interview prep, and then I watch rehearsals and I listen and get feedback from not only magicians but from like TV producers and stuff. And then all of a sudden people will come out on stage and they just had a habit. They just can't break their patter. They can't break whatever. They can do nothing to make the trick feel spontaneous. And out of frustration talking to Penn, I said, God, these people, they do these amazing stuff, but they can't even talk to a goddamn audience,
Yeah.
I said, I feel like if I learned 4 tricks, I could just, go out and make a living doing this goddamn magic thing. Because I know how to talk to people. And he was like, you should do it.
Well, and that's the funniest thing is that in covering magic, there were 2 things that I thought was that was in very short supply. In fact, you could count on your hand the amount of people that had one of these 2 traits. The rarest is being a star, like just being somebody that you are walking down the street, you see this person and you're like, what the fuck is going on with this person? Either they have an energy or they have a look, like there is just some magnetism about them. And that's what Chris Angel has. For as much as anybody wants to shit on Chris Angel, and I think that there's plenty of reasons that you can, when he walks down the street, you're like, what the fuck is going there? There's a story behind this.
Well, the thing is, I'd say as someone who's come to the magic community late, who spent 20 years in the comedy community, there's a lot of parallels to it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Chris Angel spent a lot of time trying to be a rock star.
Yes.
That matters.
Yeah.
Because you're giving yourself permission to be awesome in front of people and worth the price of admission just to see you do your thing on top of magic, right? So that does matter.
Sure. Now, the second thing is to be genuinely funny. Like, beyond not making your trick the punchline, there are very, very, very few magicians that can actually just be funny. They're a funny person that then there is an additional thing where, guess what? I knew the answer, which is every magic trick, is guess what? I knew the answer.
Exactly, right? And I'd say if anything, my take on things is, I've been opening for Pip the Magic Dragon, and Pip's a person who is a great person to apprentice with because he also values comedy equal to magic. And people always say, wow, his magic's pretty good, but he's really funny. And I always say, no. His magic's really good, and you think it's pretty good because he's really funny.
Yeah.
Is that because he doesn't want you to be jaw dropped. He wants you to laugh your ass off, but he's doing some really hard shit that's really great,
Yeah.
And he and I talk a lot, and you spend so much time debating. So many times you toss up, if I don't make this funny, then might make the audience go like, oh, whoa,
Yeah.
But that's not why they're in the room to see me, right? So let me sacrifice that moment if I can get like 3 jokes in here, and then whatever, we'll do it.
Well, because it's always weird to me when I watch magic, because the easiest thing to do, literally everybody who got into magic, except for you apparently, got into it when they were 13, and they were able to learn the mechanics that they use for the rest of their life at 11, 10, 11, 12, 13. So children can do this, and yet rarely, I think 80% of all magic entertainers never really evolve beyond that. They're like, nailed it, got it, I got the one thing.
And I think also the choice of how to evolve in magic can be flawed as well. As someone who's just a new observer, but finding parallels with comedy, I mean, my strength in the comedy world as a teacher was performance, right? It was always like, great, you took it, great, you've taken your classes, now let's work on performing. And then, and then I find myself preaching all the time, like, it's not academic. You know, you can write down all the notes you want, but anytime you really learn something, it's visceral. It just becomes something that's a part of you, because you're like, it's an aha moment. You can't fake those, and you can write notes till the sun comes home, but nothing's going to click by rereading notes, you know? And then you have people who kind of worship the art of improv or worship the history of improv. And so they go out on stage and they almost illustrate improv. Like, behold, this is how improv works. Rather than making something very awesome and present and risky happen from an audience that may or may not go off the rails. That's why people go to see improv, right? And so I feel like in magic, there's too many people who, I want to get better at magic, so let me just become a total nerd in it. Let me do the most like ancient stuff. Let me know how it all came about, and let me illustrate that on stage. Let me show how knowledgeable about magic I am. And that's not why anyone sits in the audience to watch someone do magic.
Because nobody knows. And that's the other thing. Is like the inside magic. And now we're going to get really just up the butt of this really ridiculous niche art. But inside magic, there is this phobia of, people will know. People will know the trick. The trick will be known.
I know.
And it to me is, if that's the fucking exhaust port on your Death Star, that somebody, an 11-year-old, can Google why you're not an interesting entertainer, this is your fault. This is not their fault. This is not the fault of everybody. You have made a shitty act. Number two, if you go to look up a magic trick, guess what that makes you? A magician. Nobody cares. Nobody really gives a shit.
No, I mean, you know, and it's this idea, but and again, this, like I said, because of coming from different worlds, it's all parallel. I remember thinking, like, if I start teaching what I do on stage, then I'm going to give it away. Yeah. Everyone can do it, and then I'm not going to be as good as I am, or known for being as good as I am, and it's just not true.
No,
you know. Then I started teaching exactly what I do, and people found it very hard. And it turns out that it took years and years of practice. Which I didn't,
turns out that it's a
credit for doing. Right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like I can read a manual for how to weld underwater. I'm not going to be an underwater welder tomorrow.
Nor will you stop watching underwater welding if you get the chance.
Exactly. You're like, holy shit, that arc weld was awesome. You are a true magician. All right, real quick, you guys have Scoop Fest coming up later this year. Brian and I are going to be there for Night Attack. Tell folks who are listening now where they can get tickets.
So if you go to heyscoops.com/ScoopFestVegas, you can see tickets there. It's a 3-day event. It's all happening at Show Creator Studios, where we will have live podcasts during the day and entertainment at night. We do a Welcome Vegas variety show. On Friday night, we do a comedy and a magic show. On Saturday night with improv and stuff like that. And then Sunday, we have a band, and we do the Jock versus Nerd Ball, which it's just a costume ball, kind of like a nice nerdy costume band night thing.
If you are anywhere near Vegas, or you have been looking for an excuse to go to Vegas, this is going to be that reason. It was such a blast last time, and it will be an even better time this year, I assume.
Exactly. It's just a great hangout. You know, we're bringing you guys back. We have a lot of common listeners, and everyone who comes just has a good time. Everywhere we ever do an event, the staffs are always like, please come back. The people who, you have the nicest people who, like, they're just good hangs. This is great. Please come back. So we love throwing festivals together. We like showing off our little community. But check out.
Scoop Fest is one of those events that you want to go now. You want to go to, like, if you could have went to last year, you should have went to last year. If you can go this year, go this year, because it's only going to get bigger, and there's only going to be more strangers, and it's only going to get like less personal. This is the year that you got to go to these things as they're becoming the things that 5 years down the road, they're like, oh, I've been wanting to go to that because it looks so fun. This is the year that it looks so fun.
Thanks. Yeah. Thank you. I think you're right.
All right, Matt, do you want to hang out? We got a few emails, if you want to help me with them. Michael wrote in. So we've been going back and forth. I made the argument that I preferred the term titty bar to gentleman's club because I feel gentleman's club is gender exclusionary. And then it was brought up to me that, well, titty bar is not water cooler friendly. You can't just say, I mean, unless you live in Dallas or Miami or something, you can't just walk up to the boss and say, oh, we're going to go to the titty bar. So Michael wrote in and said, JuRY, I've always liked the term topless review, but if we're going to go with both genders in the same place, I would go with nude review. I know it's not quite as visceral, but I think it's water cooler safe. Or what do you want to play coy? We can just call them strip clubs, either the show, or no, you could call strip clubs the show. My friends and I went to the show for Jerry's bachelor party. Listen, I feel like this closes the book on these emails because I think what I found out in reading all of them is that I just like saying the word titties. Like titties is just a fun word to say.
Titty bar is it's a fun combination of things. The idea that just they might be served individually is like what that makes it sound like, which is just fun to think about. I like the idea that you can say gentleman's club at the water cooler, not titty. Anyone who's talking about gentleman's club at the water cooler already is going to be thought of in a certain way.
Sure.
So you might as well say titty bar.
You want to know what? I think it's a class thing. I think that it's like rich people would say gentleman's club, and it is a discrimination against the working class and the proletariat that the more base titty bar is shamed in the workplace.
Well, the whole thing, I mean, anytime you get together a group of guys for a bachelor party or something like that, there's always the first person, and I've grown to despise this person, who says, I'm not a strip club guy.
Oh, get out of here. Get the fuck out.
And I'm always like, that implies that the rest of us go like every day.
Yeah.
Like by you thumbing, by you snobbing us, it implies that the rest of us, if we don't all say the same thing, like suddenly we're just like we're going to walk in and everyone's going to yell our names like Norm and Cheers every time we walk into a strip club.
You know, the person's going to come off the stage and like rub your normal seat and reveal a plaque with your name on it.
Right over here, Mr. Donnelly.
Yeah. The regular.
It's already cooling.
Here's another investigation we've been doing here on the JuRY Daily program. That is the air kiss. The like either side of the cheek air kiss. We have the curiosity is whether or not it's a Hispanic thing. And we have had varying different opinions on this. So Stuart writes in and says, "My wife is Bolivian and I have to kiss every woman once on the cheek every time I enter or leave an event." He adds, which has become a kicker on this show, if it helps, I'm white. So apparently, but that's a kiss on the cheek. That's not
different. Yeah, I think there's definitely different countries, cultures where you have to kiss either one cheek or both cheeks, or go back and forth the third time to express like a tremendous amount of affection for that person. That's different than blowing a kiss. I've never even thought of the origin of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because we know that it's a European thing, the either side of the cheek, like mwah, mwah, like kind of kiss. But I'd always known it growing up in South Florida as a Hispanic thing, but apparently it's not a Mexican thing. So we're trying to figure out on the map which countries we can color in. We do know that if it's done in America, we stole it. That's what we know. Oh yeah. Oh no, America is the Golden State Warriors of countries. Like we just unapologetically collect all the talent. So the other thing that we were going over yesterday was a weapon that darkened there was a large portion of Russia that was darkened over the like a 3-hour period. Apparently, a area of Russia the size of the British Isles, because the article that we saw was from The Sun. So Tom wrote in, a weapon that darkens the sky. Does that mean that I can blame Russia for the chain of events that will lead to our eventual enslavement in the Matrix? Which, for anybody who can pick up that deep of a Matrix line, I clap to you. And then here we go. We also asked everybody to rank, because The Sun, in their amazing world-class journalism, listed the following possible reasons why this could have happened. And I'm going to give them to you, Matt, and I want you to rank them.
Okay.
Either
This is why the Russian blackout.
It was the middle of the day. All of a sudden, it's pitch black, and then all of a sudden, it gets light again. Is it smoke from unidentified wildfires, an unreported eclipse, a UFO, or the work of the devil?
Okay.
That was the locals. Apparently, they surveyed the locals, and these were the top 4 most likely reasons why this happened.
Okay.
A rank for me: smoke from identified wildfires, unreported eclipse, UFO, or work of the devil.
Well, the fire makes the most sense, so we're going to rank that last.
Okay.
It is coffee, but this is my son talking here. Let's see. I'm going to go with the work of the devil should be number 1 because the definition of who the devil is still left up for interpretation.
Sure.
So you can start doing like a sub-ranking. It could be actual Satan. It could just be referring to Putin.
Yeah. Oh no. There we go. Finally, at least we can finally make this political.
I like UFO just because the U stands for unidentified. So that makes too much sense. We're going to lower it down.
Yeah.
And then
well, the best part about the UFO is how big and how high would it have to be if you couldn't see it? You could literally only see the shadow.
Well, that's like being in Vegas. Everyone loves to tell me, the casinos pump in oxygen into the air supply so that you can so you stay awake and want to stay at the things more.
Yeah.
It's like, do you know how much oxygen costs? And have you ever tried to like normally it's done with like a mask directly to your face?
Yeah.
Like, do you know how much money it would cost to pump in an amount of oxygen? That there'd be a measurable amount that you could figure out?
Yeah, and not to mention, they already pump in free drinks if you're sitting at the tables. That would seem to me to be a more tried and true hospitality solution to this problem.
Right.
All right. So,
what am I missing?
Unreported eclipse. One of them eclipses that just sneak up on you.
I always love it. That's my favorite because that's like it goes along with like flat Earth conspiracy where they say like they don't want you to know the Earth is flat. And I'm like, the amount of people, the amount of, governments and companies that need to get together to make that a true, like, rallying conspiracy is ridiculous.
Oh, my God. Yeah. No, it is a payroll that would dwarf any corporation on the planet.
Like, if you just even trying to see, like, how well Apple and Google try to get along, like, over anything, let alone what is the actual shape of the Earth and how it's presented to all of humanity. Like, that's amazing. That
is the kind. Listen, if there is a flat Earth conspiracy, I would like to know who's running it, and I would like to put them in charge of the government. Like, I would like to. Like, this seems like you are doing something that has never been done before. Congratulations to you.
It's amazing.
I, for one, welcome our new flat Earth overlords.
So the idea, the amount of people would take to make sure that no one knew, that no one is allowed to report this eclipse is amazing. Like, I just like not one blog guy got it out there, like not one person could verify it. I like that one a lot. So I'm going to make that one number 1.
Yeah, Garrett from YouTube had a similar one, similar ranking to you. Smoke from identified wildfires at 4, unreported eclipse at 3, UFO at 2, and work of the devil at 1. I feel like the consensus number 1 is indeed the work of the devil. All right, at Sweet Matty D is where you find Matt Donnelly on Twitter. Anything else that you want to plug? Of course, the Ice Cream Social podcast.
We put out a podcast twice a week, comedy podcast. Just two schlubby dudes struggling in Vegas, giving you inside Vegas talk and just other comedy nonsense. But it's twice a week. Matt and Madeline's Ice Cream Social.
If you want an intro episode, if you've never listened to the Ice Cream Social podcast. And go find the Don Poseidon episode that I did a couple weeks ago. One of the funniest nights I've ever had in my life. I was laughing about that one for years.
Of like what our goal is to go off the rails.
God. Yeah. Just insane. All right. Thank you so much to Matt Donnelly. Have a great day.
Thank you, pal.
No problem. That about wraps it up for us. You can find this show. Well, you can support it at payjurydaily.com. Find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Justin R. Young. You can email the show, jurydaily@gmail.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, then go ahead and leave a comment. We read them on the show as well. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, at Justin R. Young. Find peach pics over the next few days. And, of course, join the conversation at diamondclub.reddit.com. That about wraps it up for us. Till next time, this is your old pal Justin Robert Young saying, police don't.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.